Morning, guys. It's about 1:30 in the morning. Just pulling out of this truck stop. And although it doesn't look it, I actually pulled into the fuel island, not because I needed fuel, but I pulled in to clean off my windshield a little bit. And it still doesn't look all that great. This morning, I had to do something I really don't like doing. I had to wake up a couple drivers to get out. As most of you over the road guys know, we have a parking crisis. I stopped probably around 2:30, 3 in the afternoon. And so when I pulled in, there was plenty of parking. And as I'm leaving, there's an abandoned fuel station across the street. I don't know if the camera caught it here a second ago. And it's full. There's no amenities, no anything there. And it's full. And as I'm going on the on-ramp here, you can see there's more trucks. This is dangerous. I always say to drivers, don't do this. It's really dangerous, especially where you're up against the roadway. But these E-logs kind of give you no choice. Used to be you would fudge a half hour one way or the other and make it to a spot where it's usually empty and there's going to be something available, or you keep going until you find a truck stop that has a spot. But as we all know now, if you do that and you get inspected in the next few days, you're going to have someone write you a ticket for it at the chicken coop, and maybe even put you out of service for 10 hours. And so it is a crisis. It's a parking crisis. And so there's really no real solution on our part. I use Trucker's Path, and I do use it to see if there's going to be something available. It's not always 100% accurate, but because I rely on it to find a parking spot, I tend to also try and update it as much as I can to help others out. Anyway, I felt bad knocking on the doors with other drivers, but I do have a specific delivery time, and as it stands, I'm right on the dot with how long I think it's going to take me to get there versus how many hours I got on the clock, versus when my delivery point is. From a trip planning standpoint, it sounds like I hit it right on the money, but I actually made a mistake on my, I did a sleeper berth split yesterday or the day before, and I goofed big time by looking at I looked at my Keep Trucking app, I looked at what time I went off clock, and then I added 7 hours, and I said, okay, if I leave here after this time, that's 7 hours, and that'll be a qualifying break. And the mistake I made there was I was in a different time zone. My clock is based on one time zone, and I'm in a time zone that's ahead of that. So instead of getting a 7-hour qualifying break, it qualified as a 3-hour. So I owed my clock back 7 hours to be able to run again, and it put me behind schedule 4 hours. Anyway, I guess it's another issue, if you will, related to this digital thing that tells you when you can and can't drive. It's just kind of frustrating. It makes it a little bit more difficult to make your deliveries as promised. To be that guy that they can count on and make your deliveries. Nonetheless, my apologies to the couple drivers I had to wake up and ask them to move. I really hate doing that because it's happened to me also. And you're in the middle of that sleep that you really need, and right then is when you get woken up, and poor guys are probably going to struggle to fall back asleep. At least I do. I mean, if they manage to get right back into that snore mode, good for them. But I'm one of those people that fall asleep, and I can be snoring 2 seconds after my head hits the pillow the first time, but then if something wakes me up, I'm up for a while. But anyways, it's a conversation about nothing really, other than there's a parking crisis. It's horrible. You see trucks on the side of the highway, parking in dangerous places, in my opinion. And then when you go to the truck stops, if you don't get there by 5 or 6 o'clock, you're almost guaranteed you're not going to find a spot. And then you park in a spot that isn't parking, and either security's going to wake you up and tell you to move, a cop's going to wake you up, tell you to move, or another driver's going to knock on your door and say, hey, I need to get out. But we do need to sleep, we do need to rest. It's just one of those unfortunate things. At the same time, some of our fellow truckers kind of messed up the Walmart thing. There's Walmarts all over the country, and most of them have parking lots big enough to accommodate us. But Walmart has taken to having us towed away because a handful of people decided, when I show up to Walmart, I'm going to throw my trash out on the ground and I'm going to urinate on the ground. And so when Walmart customers show up a few hours after we've left, it smells like urine and there's trash everywhere. And these people are expecting to go inside and buy food. And now you just have the impression that Walmart is dirty. And, thank a dirty trucker for that, unfortunately. I'm not trying to be a critic or make this a negative video, but we need to, for ourselves and for our industry, try to put a positive image out for us. I don't even mean to say, keep your truck washed, because it seems like every time I wash my truck, I drive into the rain or to the snow, or I drive through a lot that's dirt, and now it's been rained on, so now my truck's muddy. I don't even mean to keep your truck clean. I mean, where we park, don't throw your trash out on the ground, don't urinate on the ground, that kind of thing. We already struggle with our image with the general public. That just hurts us all. We lost the ability to park at Walmart because of, a handful of guys that didn't have, a little respect for others. Anyway, not trying to make it a negative thing. I guess the whole thing is kind of negative, right? I woke a poor trucker up. Actually, I woke 2 poor truckers up, and I'm complaining about parking. It is what it is. Clutch Trucker actually mentioned how he hates the fact that you have to pay for parking. That's actually, in my opinion, an advantage, because if I pick up late somewhere, if I got like a 5 o'clock load appointment somewhere, I can reserve myself a parking spot and still be able to park and sleep for the night and not be woken up and asked to move. So there's pros and cons in it. It might seem like they're being selfish by trying to charge us to park when it's always been for free. But in this particular case, I think that it's an advantage because you can reserve your spot. You could be a couple hundred miles away, and if you know that's where you're going to make it to, you'll have a place to park. It may not be the easiest spot to back into. Your fellow truckers will take the easy ones, and when you finally get there, you're going to have the one that's on the blind side or just a really tight spot, but you'll have a place to rest. Anyway, enough about that. Just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Have yourselves a good morning. Safe travels. Thanks for watching.